Hello and welcome to Jam's channel. I'm Jam and today it's part 7 of my Tekkit Guides. So today we're going back to Railcraft as we look at the different types of minecarts available, how to transport energy and liquids using those minecarts, and we'll also be bringing together what we've learned in the previous 6 videos to create a really great setup for quarrying using Railcraft mods, how we harness sustainable energy and how we refined oil into fuel. So let's start off by looking at different types of minecarts available. Now obviously we've got the bog standard minecart. However, there are other types. They're all fairly self-explanatory. For example, this tank cart holds and transports liquids, such as water, oil, lava and fuel. A chest cart is essentially a chest in the minecart. We'd never have guessed that. And can literally carry anything except liquids and energy. The backbox cart and the MFE cart hold and transport electrical energy. Now all of these minecarts are used in conjunction with these Buildcraft pipes and engines, which you can see at the top left, which are used to load and unload them. So I'm going to show you how to use the chest carts, MFE carts and tank carts in conjunction with these Buildcraft pipes and also these loaders and unloaders that you can see here. Now there are basically about 4 versions. Basic versions, advanced versions, liquid loaders and unloaders, and energy loaders and unloaders. Now they all require Buildcraft engines in order to supply power to the pipes. You need to link it all up. So the basic item loader and unloader is a simple way to transfer most objects into chest carts, and it does require you to take into account gravity, so the loader must be above the minecart and the unloader underneath. Now the advanced version does not rely on gravity, unlike the basic one, so it's a little bit better in that regard. Now we've also got liquid loaders and unloaders, which is obviously used to load oil, fuel, water or lava into tank carts. And we've also got the 4th kind, which is the energy loader, which enables you to transfer electrical energy into either a backbox or an MFE cart. So, firstly, let's look at how to transport liquids without having to use humongous pipelines. So we're going to grab some tank carts. We're also going to need some rails. We're also going to need 2 boarding rails. We're also going to need a tank, well a few tanks actually, some cobblestone waterproof pipes, some wooden waterproof pipes, and we're also going to need an engine of some description. I'm just going to choose redstone because it's simplest, and a lever. And we're also going to need obviously the liquid loaders and unloaders. So first we need to do is build a railway. So we're going to put a boarding rail at the start of it, and we're just going to leave that there for now. Now, the liquid loader, it needs to be above the minecart, as I explained earlier. So we're going to build 2 kind of blocks here, and then place the loader above the boarding rail, kind of on this face of the tower, as you can see there. We're going to now place a waterproof pipe. I've chosen cobblestone for this and put it on top. And we're going to need to get ourselves a source of whatever we're going to be using, whatever liquid we want to be moving around. So I'm just going to choose water because I've already got a pipeline set up from the quarry last episode. Now these liquid loaders have an internal capacity of 1 bucket. So we're going to place our liquid unloader in the floor, like so, and then put a boarding rail on top. And we want the arrow to be facing towards where the loader was, so that we can shuttle the minecart back and forth. Now you can do a circuit if you want, but it's more cost efficient if you're only using 1 minecart to do that. So obviously I'm going to need to put a wooden waterproof pipe down and put a redstone engine next to it. And I'm going to use these tanks to hold the water in once we've got it over here. And it's a very simple setup, as you can see. requires very little effort. I'm just going to turn it on preemptively. Now you've got a filter slot here in the Liquid Unloader GUI, and if I put, for example, this fuel bucket in there, that's only going to unload fuel. So if I had a bucket water, it would only unload water. But we don't need to worry about it because we've only got one type of liquid anyway. And preferably you want to wait until the cart is empty, so you want to make sure it's on true. So we're going to need to go and turn on our pump, so we can pump our water up to our liquid loader. Now it's obviously some water's already somehow managed to get that far, not quite sure how, but we'll help it on its way using these electrical engines. Like so. So they'll start to pump our water into our liquid loader. So we're going to get our tank cart out, and we're going to place it on the boarding rail underneath the loader. And that will start to fill it with water. Now you need to check the settings, because if you don't have it right, it will do that and prematurely kind of shut off. I mean, it doesn't really matter, because it doesn't really affect it at all, but ideally you want the cart to wait at the loader until it's completely full up. So we're going to need to turn on the second option on the liquid loader, which is wait until cart is full. So we'll turn it on to true, which means the cart will not leave until it's completely full of water. So that's kind of what you kind of want it to do. So all you need to do now is sit back and wait for the water to fill up. Now obviously if you used more efficient engines on the water pump, it would be a lot quicker process. So if you use combustion engines, or if you used a lot more engines, it's going to be a much quicker process. Now ideally you'd want to you'd want to use a much bigger kind of area of track. I'm only doing it this short because it's a demo, so I don't want to be kind of running across half the map to show you. But it's going to be more efficient and better if you use it on a larger stretch of track. Because let's be honest, it would be much easier to use pipelines here. So we can see our redstone engines is slowly pumping our water out of our tank cart into the tank. So we're going to move on. We're going to move on to the chest cart next. Now I'll show you how to use these with the item loaders and unloaders. Now the principle is very much the same. So the first thing we need to do is collect all our stuff that we're going to need. We're going to need some wooden transport pipes and also some cobblestone transport pipes. We're going to need a redstone engine or whichever engine you choose to use, a lever, and obviously our 2 boarding rails, a couple of bricks, and a chest as well, because we're going to be pumping things into chests. So obviously the first step is to create our railway. Like so. Very much the same as we did with the liquid unloader and loader. So we're going to get our item loader out. And we're just going to create our 2 block tower at the start. In much the same way as the liquid loader. So there we go. And obviously we need to put our pipes on the top. So I've just used a stone transport pipe here, and I'm going to link it up to this chest, which has all our stuff in it. So I'm just going to link it up to the top, and obviously we're going to need to exchange that stone pipe for a wooden one, because we need to pump it out of the chest. So we'll pop a redstone engine on there, pop a block beneath it, and pop a lever on the block. So now we need to exchange that bit of rail for our boarding rail and make sure it's going in the right direction. Don't forget you can change the direction by using a crowbar, as always. So at the other end, all we need to do is place our item unloader under the track, pop a wooden pipe next to the unloader, and then pop our boarding rail on top of the unloader. Now the item unloader has a lot more slots in the GUI, you can see the filter slots, which basically, if you put, say, this marble brick in, it will only unload that brick, that type of brick. You also got amounts values up here you can change. You can either have a percentage to be withdrawn or an actual physical value. You can change by these buttons here. So we're just going to turn it back to percentage. We want 100%. So we'll turn our lever on, and we'll pop our chest cart down. Now it's just going to go backwards and forwards, until items start going into the item loader. So it's going to take a little while because we're using a redstone engine, so I'm just going to speed up the video with my magic abilities, like so. And we'll wait for all these little electrical engines to make their way along the pipe. So we'll slow that down, back to real speed, which looks incredibly slow. Right. I can see we've got our electrical engine coming into our inventory that's the item loader inventory, which shows you what's being loaded. Now, it's not working, and the reason why it's not working is this. I forgot to add my redstone engine. So obviously every new pipeline you make, you're going to need to put an engine on it of some description. Obviously redstone ones are rubbish, but for the purposes of this demonstration they're perfectly adequate. So you can see our little electro engine is slowly making its way into our chest here. And if I open the chest, it should appear. Oh, it's down there. There we go. So it's appeared in our chest. Now I'm not sure why the minecart isn't waiting. I think the amount keeps changing itself somehow. But never mind. We will move on to the next cart. Now the next cart is the energy cart, and again it's a very similar setup with the boarding rails at each end, and the energy loader on top of the boarding rail, and the unloader underneath. Now this time, we may need to change the direction of the loader, because the default direction isn't quite correct. But I'll explain that in a second. So we're just going to set up a really basic railway here. Just a straight line of track, boarding rail at this end, and a few sections of track there, like so. So if we pop our unloader down there, you can see the 3 slots in the top there. That denotes which way the energy is going into. It's kind of like a plug, if you imagine it looks like a plug. So this plug side will need to be facing the MFE cart or backbox cart, or whichever cart you choose to use on the electrical one. So at the moment it's wrong, so we need to change it using our trusty crowbar that we use with so many of our railcraft stuff. So it's handy to have around here. And, oh, accidentally destroyed our track. Yeah, let's put that back. Okay. So we're going to right click on the underside of the loader just to get the plug socket the right way around. So that's now facing the cart. So now all our energy will go into our cart properly. But first, let me just fill in this hole if I can, if it will let me. There we go. So we're going to need to link up our energy loader to our little solar cell farm up here. So I'm just going to use the most efficient type of cable, which is obviously the glass fibre cable. So we can connect it to the top like so. And we're gonna, what's the idea? I'm gonna replace this rubbish redstone engine with an electrical engine. So I'm gonna use the energy that we've just put into our energy loader, and I'm gonna connect it up using, of course, glass fibre cables. Just gonna need to dig a hole there just to put the cable in. And you don't need to use an MFE or an LV transformer here. Because if you do, it will explode, because obviously you've already got an MFE, which is the cart, which automatically lowers the voltage. So you can see our energy loader here. It's slowly filling up with energy. We've got the slots on the right here, which are for upgrades, but I'll probably explain that in another video. You've got battery charging and battery uncharging there. I'm going to put our MFE cart down. And you can see the power level slowly increase. Now it's only a small solar farm on that little bit of roof, so it's not going to be a quick process. So obviously if you had more solar farms and you had all sorts of sustainable energies, that will go a lot quicker. Now the MFE cart can hold, I think it's 600,000 EU, which, if you remember, is our electrical unit of energy in Tekkit. Ooh, there we go. So the MFE cart is completely disappeared, and it's over there. There we go. So it's now going to be discharging some of its energy into this electrical engine. Now it's not kind of discharging terribly fast because it's only one electrical engine. So, you probably want to have more than one there since you've got your energy available. And it's a really useful device for transferring all this newly found electrical energy that you've generated from your sustainable sources. So obviously, you can see that the pipeline's going a lot faster, and it's filling up quite quickly by the looks of it. So that's going well. So you can see what a difference it is between the redstone engine and the electrical engine. Now I must point out one problem with the item loader is that it can only hold one type of item. So you can see here that stuff's overflowing on the end because I'm only using one item loader. So it's best to use like a whole row of them. But I don't think mine's working quite right anyway. So here's what I prepared earlier. Obviously it took me about an hour to build. But I think you'll appreciate the setup I've got here. So here we go, I've got 2 quarries here. I've sped up the footage by 1,000. And we've got our 5 combustion engines. I've turned only 3 on. On the top right hand corner you can see my solar cells. And I've got all these carts flying around, which is basically transporting all the stuff from the quarry into my little house, my little underground base. So that's all for this time, folks. I hope this guide's been somewhat useful. And if you found the video helpful, give a like and subscribe so you never miss out again, and leave a comment. And if you need help, feel free to ask. So I'll see you next time. Bye!